I am at 12 Hummingbird Way today in Amelia, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, any root intrusion. There's a tree in the center of the yard, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. There are two out. This is a slab, so the cleanouts are outside, and there's one, if you're facing the house, there's one on the right side, just next to the house, and there's another one in the center of the front yard. And then so we're going to go into the one on the side, and we're going to go both ways. I'm going to go upstream, which will be back into the house basically, so we can do any length of that main line that goes underneath the slab in the house. We'll go as far as we can that way until we go up in a stack, so it would go vertical. We'll be able to tell that by the you can see the angle indicator in the bottom left hand corner. It tells you how that camera is laying. And then once we finish there, we'll pull back to the clean out, and then we'll turn around and go downstream and go out to the main. So first, like I said, we're going to go upstream. And now there is some stuff here on the bottom of the pipe, so I'm going to try to do it without getting stuff all over the camera. So what we may have to do is run some water here and clean that off. It just has a little bit of haze on the camera there. So I think I'm all ready. Go. So it's not uncommon to have a little bit of slime build up, kind of like, you got some slime build up on there just because the lines are relatively flat. Nowadays the toilets don't have as much water as they used to going through them. It looks like I am already at the end of the line in the main stack, and so you can see on the bottom there, bottom left, that I'm sitting at about almost 80 degrees, which means I'm heading straight up. So now we're going to pull back and we'll take a look at everything. Yeah, see there's some toilet paper. That may be a wet wipe, which is not. I'll take this time to say that. It doesn't matter if you've got brand new pipe or old. Don't use wet wipes or paper towels or anything don't flush them. Don't put them in the plumbing. They can easily cause backups. They just don't break down like toilet paper. If you're going to use them, throw them in the trash, because they can easily back up a sewer line. If you ever have a question of that, you just take a wet wipe and a piece of toilet paper, run them both underneath the sink, water in the sink, and the toilet paper will disintegrate and the wet wipe will not. And that's why they catch things and they can block up easier. Toilet paper is designed to do that. So as you can see, all these joints look nice and tight. No issue, no water sitting in there. This is being used, so people are living here, so that's why there's all that stuff in the bottom. And I'm already back to the clean out, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in, I'm going to have them run some water in the sink and see if we can see how well that water is flowing down through there. So I'm going to pause the video for a second while I go do that, so there's no dead air space on here. Okay, so you can see water's flowing right up against the front of the camera. We're going to shake it off here, and the way we're sitting, we're right almost at the clean out anyway, so but you can see it coming back into the face of the camera. We're just trying to flush some of this stuff out here just to take a look at it. See, I think that back little piece there, you can see that's pretty normal, but see the stuff coming loose on the bottom of the pipe already? Basically my camera's probably just disturbed it enough to loosen some of that. It's basically like mold or something, not like bad mold or anything like that, but it's just something that that like an algae or something that's growing there. And this is what I was talking about that wet wipe. It's not going to cause any issues or anything. It's just in there, but we want those to, you don't want to use those. They just do not break down. So, but the inside pipe all looked really good. No issues at all. So we're going to pull out here. Pull out the cleanup for a second. I'm going to wipe the camera off. Okay, and now we're going to go back in and we'll go downstream or out towards the main. So we'll be able to do between here and the street. Hopefully we'll be able to watch that water flow as we go. Should have a couple 45s as the pipe comes around the house. Turn about at like a 45-degree turn and drop, as you can see there. And it should come down and straighten back out. This is a pretty good drop here, 40 degrees, which is good. It'll get the speed up on the water and help flush the stuff right out. There's a joint, nice and tight. A little bit of flow there. That's obviously because we have water running. That's not an issue. Just a connection where it flattens back out, so it slowed the water down a little bit right there. But once we get out to the main, we will shut the water off. And then we'll inspect it again on the way back. As you can see, we have some steam in there.
You still need that on?
And that spot that had a little bit of water is probably exactly where that clean out is in the front yard. A lot of times those fittings like that will do that. Like I said, it'll kind of slow the water up a little bit, that's all. So when you're running it, it builds up just a hair, and this camera is only about a ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe, so it's not really much water.
20 times.
So now I'm pushing some of the toilet paper and stuff down the pipe here. That's what those pieces are. It's just flushing the line out with the water running, that's all. I'm not sure where the main is. It may be on the other side of the street, so we should be able to tell better once we get there and we have the footage in front of us. As you can see, we're already out 85 feet. You can see I'm just pushing goo. That's what's, somebody's breakfast maybe. Here we are turning, and it looks like we are coming into the main now. We are. So we're all the way at the main. See how this comes into the larger pipe here. And so we made it all the way to the main. I didn't see any issues whatsoever. Everything looked great. But we're going to pause the video for a second. We're going to go turn the water off, and then we'll inspect on the way back without the water running. And hopefully, we've flushed, a lot of the little bit of stuff that was in there. Hopefully we've flushed that stuff out, and as we go back, we'll be able to see even better. So I'm going to pause the video. We're going to go shut the water off. Okay, so we've shut the water off. Just giving it a second more to everything to finish flowing down the pipe, but it should be pretty good as we pull back. taper off. Looks like a pretty flat line, but it's all getting out of there. Usually stuff like this will really get flushed out once you push this stuff out of there. Usually it'll, you know, if somebody takes a shower, does some laundry, this will all get flushed out with a lot more water. This is just running the kitchen sink for a minute. Or I mean the bathroom sink, excuse me. So, but everything looks really good. You can see, if you wonder why there's a color change, this is a green, like an SDR35. That's usually what's right before the main or out in the street. Usually they put this on the exterior lines. It's really just they're both rated similarly. They have a similar wall thickness as the white stuff. It's just a different grading system. They call this SDR35, and the white stuff is a schedule. It's called Schedule 40. Everything looks really good. You can see there's a joint right there. You can barely see it, and that's what you want. You want to really not be able to tell a whole lot. Somebody just flushed the toilet, so you should have a flush of line, or a flush of water coming through here shortly. But here it comes. And there we are back in the white spot, or white pipe, excuse me. And that's where it comes back into basically the house line. It's where the contractor usually hooks onto what the developer puts in. So they would do all the mains and run the pipe up into the front yard with the green stuff, and then when the builder puts the house in, they run this white stuff basically to where they connect. That would be pretty close to where the main, or where the clean out is. Now, I had taken the cap off. I believe it is like right here is where that clean out is. But maybe offset enough to where you can't see the hole. But I'm going to check that just to be sure. That may be something for the storm. But this pipe looks really good. All the joints are nice and tight. No water buildup, no solid buildup. Everything looks really good. So, see, we pulled all the way back out. We're back in the reel, and everything looked great. Not really anything to report. structurally everything looked about as good as it could. Nice tight joints, everything looked perfect. So the only suggestion I have is, because we saw that little bit of that one wet wipe in there, is just never use them. Just because, or throw them in the trash if you got to use them. It's not a big deal. Just if you put them down there, they just have a lot bigger chance of causing a backup than anything else. So again, everything looked great on the line, so that'll end the inspection at number 12 Hummingbird Way in Amelia, Ohio.